Alrighty. So, sorry. Still cleaning the bike. I promise I just started, so y'all might see a couple of videos, probably a few. Me wash the bike. So, like I said, what happened next after I bought the bike? So I'm gonna tell you how this worked. When I first got the bike and I bought the bike, let me tell you how this worked. And I'm gonna teach you some things, and this is going to be one of the important things that you're gonna have to know if you ever start this, okay? One, when you first buy your bike, when I first bought the bike, I did not know how to ride at all. At all. So what I did was, I don't have a truck. So I rented a truck because not only for this, my advice, and I'm going to explain why, because it's going to explain that, is that what's going to happen is sign up for a thing called Motorcycle Safety Foundation course. Sign up for it, because what's going to happen is, sorry for the streets, but what's going to happen is you're going to have to go to this class. Well, you're not going to have to, but I recommend you go to this class. And when you go to this class, you're going to learn the basics, which is very important to, know how to ride it. And you're not going to be riding your expensive bike and all that stuff. Go to Cycle Gear, buy your helmet, built. That'd be my recommendation. Built with the dark visor, you can switch to dark and clear. Buy that, costs like $100. Some gloves, and that's pretty much all. Oh, some bicycle shoes. I would recommend if you're gonna restart riding. And that's pretty much it. You don't need the shoes, but I would go ahead and get them if you can. And I went ahead and bought the whole gear because I had the money. So, like I said, I didn't know how to ride, so I got a rental car. Then went to U-Haul, got me a motorcycle trailer. Met the guy at a public spot in the parking lot. Checked the bike out. And this is where YouTube comes in, where I turn around and say, check, so you can check certain things. They'll tell you what to check for to get a bike and everything. Cycles. I think it's CYK Cycles. I think that's the name of them. They're pretty good too. They tell you what to look for when you first buy a bike. So I went, got the U-Haul motorcycle trailer, got the rental car, put the bike on the trailer. Luckily, we met right there at a UPS store. And if you ever buy a bike, make sure, this is my advice, you don't have to follow it. Yeah, you can get bikes with salvage titles and all that. I ain't playing with that. So what I did was I made sure, and I asked straight out, do you got a title? They have a lot of people on Facebook Marketplace that will say, hey, we got, this is salvage title, or I have the title, clean title. I always do the clean title. So we went straight to the UPS store. He signed the bike over to me after I gave him the money. And so put the bike on the trailer, and I drove the bike here, drove it home. Took it off, put it in the house. Well, actually, I put it in the parking lot. And I looked at the bike and said, what the world do I do now? But luckily, like I said, I had my ex-wife, and she sat there and she said, look, man, just practice. And I watched this video one day, do something about, and I'm at an apartment complex, so I just literally just went up and down my street a few times. Then I did my neighborhood a few times. Did that for about 2-3 days until I went up and down the street. The whole time I did that, I was going to the DMV to register the bike. I got the plate. But I didn't have the plate yet. But I registered the bike. Here you gotta do the inspection and stuff. And they gave me a temporary tag until I got the inspection done. Now this is how that scratch happened. And I'm gonna be totally honest on what happened and where I messed up at. So, in the process, I had my brother come over and I let him. I needed to go to Cycle Gear, and since I had the thing and you know, cool, had the inspection, and I was like, bet. I said, look, man, you go ahead and take the car. I'll go ahead and take the bike to Cycle Gear. So he's like, all right, cool. Get the Cycle Gear, everything's fine. Pulling out of the Cycle Gear, it's on this hill. And, because I don't know what I'm doing, I'm nervous as hell. I don't, the whole nine. Went to pull out from the hill. And because I ain't take the motorcycle safety class, no one ever told me to look where you're going. I literally fixated on these poles and incoming traffic, and I went that way. And instead of trying to hit the brakes, I had a old moment, hit the gas, that bike took off, and I pretty much slid the bike. So, and I had to go, and let's see what was messed up when I messed up the bike. This back light was messed up. Part of my signal light was messed up, and I had something wrong with my gas tank. Off rip. Just got the bike. The day before the motorcycle class. Drove it home. I was able to drive it home. Might have been a little dangerous, but I did it. I pretty much did my army training type stuff on it. I said, oh, it's drivable. At least get me home. Drove it to the shop. They told me everything that was wrong with it because it's up the street from my house. Drove it here. Emptied out the gas tank. Took it to the spot that I knew about. They fixed my gas tank. And I fixed the lights myself because I know how to do a little bit of stuff. So that's literally how that happened. Because I didn't take the class. Went to class and told them, yes, I got a bike. This is what happened. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, couldn't get it inspected because after I left Cycle Gear, I was going to get the bike inspected so I can go get the license plate. Couldn't even get it done because of the gas leaking and all that. And North Carolina has a law that says if you have signal, you gotta have signal lights. If you got one signal light, all of them you have to have all signal lights. So since I had two on the left side, I had to have two on the right side. So I went ahead and just got that. So couldn't even get inspected until that stuff was fixed. Went to the class, told them what happened. Straight told me that's not going to happen again because of that reason or whatever. And they were right. I never had that problem no more after taking the class. So that's why I say, take the class. Now, because I slid and it all happened and my brother was home with his girlfriend and stuff, I had to hear the conversation. Hey, man, that's why we don't want you riding and da-da-da-da-da-da. But, hey, man, look, let me tell everybody this straight out. Riding a bike is really like riding a bicycle. On the sense of, when you first rode a bicycle, guess what? Most of us fail. If not all of us, we all fail. You're going to fall off the bike. You're going to drop the bike. Trust me, I thought I was going to get a bunch of people talking and people motorcycle talking about me like, man, you dropped that bike and it's a Ducati and da-da-da-da-da-da. But you know what? Everybody was actually cool. They all was like, look, man, it's your first bike. Eventually it's going to happen. We just happy it happened out of slow gear and all this other stuff. And it's okay. It happens. And that's pretty much it. So, and fairings and all that, people just like, hey, they're fairings. You can get them replaced. It's scratched up. We ain't even worried about it. As long as the bike run, you straight. So, yeah, that's literally how that happened. I was sore because I just landed on my shoulder. And what's weird was I landed on my right shoulder, but my left shoulder was sore for like a day. But thank God for gear. I had pants on, motorcycle pants, motorcycle shoes, helmet, motorcycle shirt, motorcycle helmet. And what made it so bad, me and my ex-wife was getting into it about her not wearing her gear. So it came and ended up becoming a blessing in disguise, but because it happened to me, it made her at least wear a jacket when she's riding in a helmet, because she realized that, man, if it's happening to you, y'all know how safe you are like that. Like, it can happen to anybody. And I don't need nothing to happen to her, man. I got my son. You know what I mean? I really don't want nothing to happen to her for my son's sake. So, yeah. So that's literally how that happened. Now, next video is going to be the things I've learned after riding. All right. Talk to y'all soon. It's gonna stop? Dang.